Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy TGreenMan dropping in on that vlog. Sorry it's a couple days late, but man, been a crazy last week, man. So we'll get started. Last week it came in like we talked about from the last weekend victory. We had a whole bunch of obstacles, but that's life, man. Life is gonna keep coming with obstacles when you're moving in the correct direction. Life's gonna always throw that wall at you. You know what I mean? It's gonna stop, and then you're not gonna be able to get past it until you figure out whatever lesson, or you make whatever action or whatever. But pretty much this last week was a fight with the holidays, the weather. We had the new year come upon us, which got some great benefit. Got to go to my Buddhist function thing where I go to and see a lot of people. Then I got to go check out Jamaican food. If you guys haven't had Jamaican food, man, that's some good stuff, bro. I had the goat curry. Oh my god. I don't have much for red meat. I don't eat beef or pork, but I'll go off like with lamb and stuff sometimes. But I've never had goat. I've had lamb, which I'm sure pretty much is the same. But it was it was good. I had a really good time and got to try some food, and I was really happy. I got their hibiscus tea. It was very nice. I like trying new foods. I'm big on anything new. I'm not gonna down something because I've never tried it. I always got to get down. I've learned that because I found some good stuff, especially in the Latin. Like you go around to like different Latin countries, they have all kinds of crazy stuff. It's not just Mexican food. It's not burritos and tacos. They actually have crazy stuff like the sandwiches, pupusas. There's all kind of crazy stuff. But moving ahead further, man. Last weekend was rough, rough, man. I'm having issues with the vehicle, but I've been really pushing myself, chanting really hard, building my life condition to fight through this, because really it's about winning. We go through obstacles to win, so we can encourage others to win. That should be hopefully your main focus whenever you attack any obstacle in your life. It's it's really bad. If you just let it stop you. The longer you stop and don't approach it, the longer it stays there. So I've been trying to really approach some of these problems in my life, you know, kind of moving forward to really what's been plaguing me over the last couple of days is right around the beginning of last week too. I took, or the ending of the other week, where such and forth. But I took a prepay through my business, and I took on a client who had about 10 vehicles. And the mistake I made, number one, was you know I made a quote without even looking at these vehicles. It's just assuming that they're normal, because I assumed this guy was a dealer, and I think a normal dealer with a lot and everything. So I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking of like other dealers I've worked with, because I've done lots of dealers, had really good times. I still have dealers I work with today, but sometimes you run into certain car dealers that are, they're not, way up in the game making millions of dollars. So they're kind of like me, but maybe a little higher, maybe a little bit lower, but they're really trying to make ends meet. They got overheads, they got families and things like that. So, and he buys these cars, at a tow auction. So, you know, so and forth. These cars are pretty bad. And, I spent like 2 trips, and I spent about 6 hours worth of labor on 3 cars. Um, Normally it takes me to do an interior detail, a complete interior detail, even on bad ones, it takes me about an hour and a half, tops. 2 hours with the wash. You know what I mean? Like and that's on like that's bad ones too. Normally an interior with the wash I can finish an hour and a half. I can usually do an interior on a normal car about an hour, just the interior part. But when I'm spending hours on just interior portions, the vehicle is beyond a normal damage. It's like it's extra damage. It's extra dirty, or an extra dirty charge. Or like I knew at a car wash, when people would pull in and want the complete interior detail, we would have to tack on an extra $100 to $200, just because it's the amount of labor. It's so dirty, you have to constantly clean it. You clean it, let it dry. Clean it, let it dry. Clean it, let it dry. Take the greaser, let it sit. There's a lot to it, and I literally probably went through two and a half gallons of just degreaser. on these cars. And then, the 2 trips, 6 hours. I broke a shot vac. The first day I was there, I was, doing these cars, and just right in the middle of it, shot vac just broke because these cars were so dirty. I had like soaked in like degreaser that I let sit there for like 20 minutes, and I was going back in there, and just, it was bad. I really wish I would take pictures of these things and before and after so you could really see stuff. I don't really have the capabilities right now to really pop all that up. I'm doing that as I go with this channel, but it'll get there. But I mean, I'm not really worried about it because what I realized and reflected after doing all that, and and like I was trying to get it in there as much as I could to finish these cars. But when it's that bad and you're already going in past your labor time, you have to start doing it when you got time, because I had already lost money at that point. At 6 hours with all that, I'm at about $300 into it, and I only made $225 off the original, and there's still 2 more cars to go. So, this guy's calling me yesterday, freaking out, yelling at me, and then my friend who originally hired the job for me is freaking out, and it's like, oh yeah, and I see from their eyes, because normal people, that's like, oh, is this guy fucking messing around? But I don't really think that the owners of the car are really looking at the before and after evaluation of what was happening. I mean, that stuff, I literally was peeling like chunks of like dirt grime off the steering wheel. Like you couldn't even see anything underneath it. Like it was like literally like layered patches that I was scrubbing off with like bristle pads and stuff just to get down on this plastic. It was really bad. But and this is, all of it still isn't really helping my own case, but that's because I'm kind of giving you all the details before I come to the conclusion of where I really, reflected upon on all this. Was the best way to handle something like that is, I could argue with the guy and try to take out what I made out of it and try to pull out or try to finish it and lose. But I realized the best way to go, which probably a lot of you would not go this way, but I'm just going to give the guys all of his money back, because, it's not really worth the battle. You know what I'm saying? This guy, if he's already not acknowledging what's already been done and is at the conclusion that I'm not doing it, that means he's locked in. He's not willing to be compassionate. He doesn't look at things from an outside perspective of other people. Rather, he only looks at it through himself, which is normal. Humans are like that. We're greedy. We're greedy in nature because we only think about what we got, what happened to us in this deal. They don't think about what happened to the other person in the deal. We only think about what happened to us. Like, oh, I put money down. Who cares? This guy did 6 hours worth of labor and went through all these chemicals. I gave him money and it's not done, so I'm mad. You know what I mean? So that's a battle you create in your own mind. Because if you got the guy who did the work trying to work with you, then your battle isn't even created. You're creating the battle, which means that's based on your own patience, not on your own effect to the universe. You know what I'm saying? The universe works on its own time. It doesn't work on your time or my time. It works on its own time. So when things don't work out in the universe's time, like for instance, in this aspect, the guy you hired or whatever on the detailing, your cars were dirtier than they needed to be. I mean, there's literally, on one of the passenger side, there was piss on the ground. Like, it's bad. I mean, it was disgusting. Normally, a car wash just to touch that piss spot would have been over $100. So it's really funny that these people don't understand these pricing, but then demand it especially on a small business. Like, I'm a small business. I'm not like $1 million corporation. You know what I mean? I run and operate my stuff by yourself. So when you got these two grown guys trying to do it, that's bullying tactics in my eyes, and that's people not being actual people. That's what I call the human hungry, side. That's it. That's people in the world of hunger. Buddhism, we have the mutual possession of 10 worlds, where we believe, there's the whole layers. I'll go into that one day with you guys. But basically, there's a world called hunger, where people are hungry. Because everybody's hungry. Most people on this planet are in that world. We're hungry. We're out there hungry to get whatever we can. And we're out there to hustle. It's a very, I say that's like a normal perspective for most human beings. They stay in and out of that world. People who start to understand compassion, or those who read those enlightened worlds, it's not a lot of people understand that stuff. They don't think of, when they make an action, that they don't think of all the consequences of all the people around them. They only think of what they receive. And that's the sad point of society. Instead of looking back and taking responsibility, we expect everybody else to take responsibility, and we blame them. That's why in this situation, I decided, I'm not going to play this game and argue and whatever. I'll just take responsibility, pay it back, and then the universe is on them. Because then they still have to deal with what the causes they made of how affecting the guy that detailed their cars. That did actually do some work. But until they accept that, they will have that karma on their hands. And I'll be free because the only bad causes I made, like I said in the beginning, I took the money and I also, quoted it without looking at the job. So, in essence, I'm going to win out of this, even though I lose. But stuff like that, those kind of lessons in life, that's a 220. Really, it's about a $425 lesson that started with $225. Because actually $525. Woo! It's a $525 lesson if you really look at. Yeah, I got to $225, but it's gone, and you already worked that back, and then I'm going to give another $225 on top of it. So it's about $525 I'm going to lose out of this deal. So it's funny because my friend who I was like, oh, I was trying to help you, and he was. I know he was, but the problem is a lot of people also don't look at all the aspects. Whenever you help somebody, make sure you're really helping them. Get the facts. Make sure you know the quality of things, especially in a service industry business. Because me personally, if I was sending somebody a client, I wouldn't be sending them a client for the cheapest price possible. Because if that guy's hurting, that's just gonna hurt him more. Whenever someone's trying to eat him up, eat the guy who's down. It's like kicking a man when he's down, sawing into his life, and taking it away, and then kicking him some more, making him feel like it's his fault. That's a very, very, very beastie attack, whether or not people want to accept it or not. I've accepted my part in this, and that's why I've decided my causes. But it's just really unfortunate to see such a hungry situation right near me. But it is a test, to see if I'm really on the path that I have chosen, which nothing will deter me. When I start to feel as I'm being attacked, I look back at the situation and I fix it. I stand right back up and I become larger than the problem. That's what you have to do. When you have a problem, you have to become larger than it. Like I was thinking about it the other day. Really, anything we think is impossible is definitely possible. So you just have to look at it and just be like, yep, I can do that. And just believe it. Whether or not there's as many things in front of it to stop you as there are, just be aware of what you can do. But that was my week, really, up to today. I'm still grinding ahead, and I'll get you guys informed and get you guys an update. Just want to throw a little story in there for you. If anybody ever deals with things like that, where they are in a service industry and they own their business and they got a guy that they know they provided a service with, and feel like that they want to keep something at a certain level, there's lots of ways to handle certain situations, but that's not the way to handle it every time. So it comes down to the wisdom, which is another subject for another video. But we are getting up into 13 minutes, and I want to talk your ears off with this vlog. So you guys have a great day, and to all the young people out there, keep grinding, keep doing your thing, stand up, and be the best you can. All right, bye.